Good morning to all the participants. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Anna Gregorio, that I have known during a gender diversity event organized from the committee of Trieste University, where I have found a great environment with women that want to share their experience and look forward to build a new society by enhancing the human's value in research with a interdisciplinary approach. Was a very fantastic way to know Anna. And I will briefly introduce her very long career. She graduated in physics at the University of Trieste in 1992 and a field doctor in physics at Pisa University at 1994. Master in Space System University at Delft University at 22. And today she is Associate Professor of Physics at the University of Trieste. She has been coordinating the instrument teams of ESA Euclid and Planck missions. And her H index is 54, co-authors of 306 papers. Currently, her main teaching position is Laboratory of Astrophysics in Space, and she is expert evaluator of the European Commission. Invited members of the study group on small satellite for space science in COSPAR, and coordinator of the university space activity included in the list of top Italian scientists physics. But is not all. She is the CEO of PICOSATS, a spin-off company of the university which operates in the field of a small satellite. Convinced sailor, passionate skier, and traveler, but far from a tourist destination. In April 2020, Forbes Italia nominated her among 100 most successful Italian women. In September, she was nominated among the 5th most influent women in the innovation field, DigiWoman 2020. In 2021, she nominated PICOSATS among the techie startup founded by women. I will leave the floor because it is too much, and I leave the floor to Anna. Thanks, Anna.
Thank you, Anna Maria. You are talking really about me. I mean, I'm a bit embarrassed. Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I have to say, but it's a pleasure to be part of a women in aerospace activities. Maybe we have never discussed that, but I'm attending WIA since a while because I know your president. I know Luisella since many years, and so many years ago we decided, let's try. Also, you have to attend this activity, so it's a really pleasure to be here and to discuss with you about my activities, which. Maybe it's interesting. So I would like to start from my main activities. So everything in the space started with the Planck mission. You nominated first. So let me put on the screen the Planck launch. Okay. So can you see it?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so this is my first love. Okay, so it was a strange story because in something in I think in 2000 in 2008 I think it's 2007. I was working Planck and I was working on the operational side. So I was supposed to become one of the instrument operation managers of a LFI instrument, the low frequency instrument on board Planck. Planck had the two instruments on board. And then from a day to the other, we were free doing this job to shift one to with the others. And suddenly all the other two left Planck and I was alone. I was suddenly alone and had to deal with all the full test campaign, on-ground test campaign, the full launch campaign alone. Well, of course with a team, but being responsible for everything. So it was sort of crazy days, completely full. I was working day and night for 2 years, dedicated all my life to Planck. So for me, the launch was something special. I was at the launch site. And so having a look to the launch is still something which is quite emotional for me. So here you see the Planck launch from different cameras on the launch site. I was close to one of these launch cameras, so every time I see that is something special. It is strange because by chance was also my wedding anniversary, and so I had with me also my husband, and my life was sort of complete with that day. Was one of a few times which my personal life was very close also to my job experience. So it was an incredible day. And it was funny because I remember once I started in Planck, when I was nominated instrument operation manager and IV manager, by the way, first, everybody was asking, who is a girl, a woman? So it was really strange because everybody was expecting a man. I was mostly working on flight operations, so nobody was really knowing me on the test side. And so I was suddenly there, and it was not an easy experience. But then I was appreciated, I have to say. It was being a woman was I call it a super bonus because they learn to appreciate, of course, I hope my professionalism. I was dedicated really to Planck, but with a special female touch, let me say that way, because I was always taking care of a team, or any personal problem, and I think this is very typical of women. And it is funny because once Planck was over, I remember Thales, by the way, which was the prime contractor of Planck, Thales France. So can you imagine a French girl, a French woman with a French man? So there was Italian against France. And I remember first days were really crazy. And then the last day we left, everybody was somehow crying and saying, okay, kisses, something like that. And so we will see again. I mean, and I was saying, sorry, do you remember first time we met? You were killing me. But okay, everything was fine finally. So, and we are still friends, by the way. So, few years ago, I went before the lockdown. I was in France to visit them, and we are still enjoying a lot. So, again, this is being a woman was good that time. Then after Planck, I was saying, okay, what I can do more? Yes, I'm almost the equivalent figure on Euclid, but I was willing to do something more. So I was starting working on small satellites, and it was funny because we had a lot of students. We were building the first satellite in Trieste, the first nano satellite in Trieste. So we were almost, we completed our so-called AtmoCube. And we were supposed also to fly that AtmoCube on the Vega maiden flight. Then I had some personal problems, not myself, but my family. So I had to stop for a while. And the university started discussing, why don't you do something else? So why don't you create a new company, something close to the university, of course. And so PICOSAT has born in 2014, just after Planck. And this is funny. This is complex, definitely complex, but funny. It's a spin-off of a university, and as such, I think there are special keywords for defining PICOSAT. Of course, innovation, technical innovation, technology innovation is the first keywords. We are doing telecommunication devices. By the way, we are doing transceivers, miniaturized transceiver working at very high frequency. So it definitely is an innovation for small satellites. But it's not just innovation. It's also ethics, for example. I believe in ethics, and I think this is again something special for academics, but also for women, and also there are a number of things which are special. I want. We have a lot of students which finish their activities, their studies, and then enters in PICOSAT, and this is having fun. So that's it.
Thank you very much, Anna. It's very great, also emotional, your video and
the launch,
direct experience.
Well, it was an incredible day, by the way. So it was raining, raining for 2-3 days. I was there for the launch campaign since at least 1 month. So I was really raining since 1 month, and suddenly, a few minutes before the launch, the sky became really light blue. You see, the sun is coming, and we had this incredible launch, and we could really see and appreciate the launch.
That is very important.
So I hope the next launch will be with something with PICOSATs on board. We are looking for a launch opportunity. We are discussing a launch opportunity, and probably we will go on the International Space Station.
Okay, Anna, many thanks. Now I introduce the moderator, that is a young generation, Luca Ferrone. He is a space segment engineer working for a European Space Agency based in Exeter, UK. Luca obtained a master's degree in space and astronautical engineering with specialized in launchers and propulsion from Sapienza University of Rome. He was awarded an Erasmus internship scholarship to complete his master thesis in electronic propulsion in Thales Alenia Space, in our site in Cannes. Following the internship, he moved to our site in UK, joined our engineering department. He worked on several programs, such as NeoSat, Copernicus, Forum as a propulsion architect, and chemical thruster responsible for nearly 4 years before becoming ESA staff. Today, Luca is working as a technical officer in the frame of ARTES program, responsible to generate R&D, finance, technology, and the product development for telecom application. And he also the propulsion reference in telecom directorate. He joined recently the Women in Aerospace in the early 2021. And he joined our new initiative, We Come a Common Man project, where we are sponsoring the importance to build a modern society together, women and men. And to invest in the younger generation is the best way. I leave the floor to Luca.
Thank you for the kind introduction, and thank you so much for the very interesting speech that we had just before. I'm amazed each time that we have such a testimony from someone who had a very challenging goal, but then also worked hard and managed to succeed and to meet them. So I'm sure most of our participants today will have loads of questions already for you, but just before that, we will go through a few topics that I have prepared for you, and I hope you enjoy. So for now, I kindly ask everybody to keep the camera and the mic off until we will allow to ask your question. Then you can turn on your mic and ask your question yourself, or write them in the chat as you prefer. So, Anna, if you follow our Rome LG Instagram channel, you may have seen last week that we ran an initiative called What Would You Say? This aimed to collect from different targets the phrases that they would say to encourage young women and girls to start a career path in STEM. So what is your memory of the first time you fell in love with science?
This is a bit strange for me. I think I'm the typical scientist who knows to be a scientist since I was a child. So I've always been passionate of mathematics and later physics. So I started as such, and I became finally a scientist. What is a bit odd in our education as a women, as a girls, is probably is the high school, I think. So I remember when I was a child, everything was sort of funny because yes, I know I was very good in mathematics, and so I couldn't answer the typical question for students, because everybody, okay, no, you have not to answer because we know you know the answer, so everybody else should answer but Anna. But later it was different at high school, and this is, I think, is probably a problem of education. So at the end of the high school, I was not sure what had to apply for. So it's funny because probably at the end of elementary school, I was sure, and then I was not even that sure later, because I was a girl. So, are you going really to have to study science? It's not for girls. It's maybe it's better if you study laws or something similar, or biology, but not STEM science. I mean, not hard science. And I said, no, come on, I want to be a scientist. And it was not really a fight, but there was something a bit annoying. So I was for me, science was such a love, but finally it was not a problem. And of course, my parents were not against that, so they were happy about that, but it was not their main purpose. I mean, they were somehow also on their side, they were not sure was the right choice. So I think for young girls, I would say believe in yourself.
Thank you. I really hope that they will be more and more motivated by such a strong passion, and they will take this path. But after high school, you started your university, and at the end of your university studies, then there is a critical moment, and you need to make the good choice for starting your future career path. Most of the students feel lost without clear ideas on what are the next steps to take. So what role did your university play in helping you starting your career path? And in the other hand, how much personal resourcefulness did it take?
Okay, it was fundamental, the university. It was fundamental, my professor, I have to say. So in my life, in the early life, when I was still a student, my family was caring about me. So I was just had to study. After at the end of my study was my boyfriend, which is now my husband, who was caring about me. And so I had always somebody who was caring about me. At the end of my studies, I had to decide what to do. I was willing to take a PhD, and indeed I took a PhD, but not at my university. I was living in Trieste, and well, I'm now again working in Trieste, but at those time, the best choice would have been to go abroad, or at least in our university. And so the best university for me was Pisa. And I was working already with an experiment at CERN in Geneva. So probably the best choice would have been to be in the middle. Well, indeed, I was in both places. And it was difficult for me to make this choice and to leave my family, not to leave, but at least partly to leave my boyfriend in that period. And for 4 years, I was completely outside my town and my living place, my origins, and it was difficult because everybody was caring about me, and so I was somehow. My choice was at the beginning was felt as a sort of escape. So I was escaping my family and was escaping my boyfriend. Indeed, it was not the case. It was difficult not only for me but also for them to understand that this was my choice, and they have to respect my choice. And this, I was lucky because they could finally understand. But my professor was key because I was very young. By the way, we were sharing the same patients and same patient of my husband. I'm a sailor, as Anna Maria mentioned before, and so also my professor was a racer, by the way. So we were racing for the same club, so it was funny. But again, having also personal relationship with my professor, which is just a friendship, but was quite important to understand. But I have to believe in myself.
Thank you. I think that if we want to achieve important things, we also need to make important decisions. And you were brave, but the results were good. So compliments for that. Now, today, you're also, on top of being professor, you're also an entrepreneur. So you know the value of work and the importance of the human resources. What are, in your opinion, the differences between your female and male employees, and what is the best way to valorize those differences rather than seeing them as a problem?
We are different, but that's for sure. I'm not claiming we are really the same. Okay, I was mentioning before when at Planck times, the first approach with me was not that good, but finally it was a super bonus because apart from professionalism, I think being a woman is can be different for the approach you have with people. For you care more probably about people. And so finally, I was appreciated. I was really appreciated, I think, for that, for the ethics, and also for the approach we have to also to the work, because we have to explain what we are doing. It's typical for female. We are very good in outreach, and sometimes men see, especially scientists, less on the entrepreneur side. But people with scientists which are doing too much outreach, sometimes seen as less important scientists. While we as a women, I think we believe that is a key for people to learn what we are doing. So also this is different. And if we neglect women, we neglect half the population, and we neglect half of thinking heads. And I think this is crucial for our society to have the best in each roles. So again, I think it's important to work as a team. We have to discuss. I'm not able to work alone. I always need to discuss my choice with other people. And if we discuss our choices, men and women, I think we gain, and we both gain. And that's the key aspect, I think.
Thank you. I totally agree, and I think the diversity should be seen as an added value and not as a problem. We shouldn't fear the diversity. Anyway, the next question I have for you is: in a time before COVID, when it was still allowed to travel, to go around, I guess that you have traveled all around the world in the frame of your work, maybe even in personal basis. What experience abroad marked you the most, and what would you change in the European space sector?
I remember once, many years ago, I think it was 1998, something like that. I was in Washington. I had the opportunity to work on in a shuttle mission, the shuttle mission with John Glenn on board. So he was already, it was funny because he was already more than 70, I think, and was on board. I was not really understanding why he was on board. Of course, he's a major astronaut. He was a major astronaut. He was the first U.S. astronaut. So he was a key person a key figure for U.S. But I remember I was working on that mission. Once it was launched, I remember I wake up with a US Today, the newspaper, with a major title, "We understand the mystery of oldness." And I say, why? Which is a mystery. And what we understood now that Glenn is again in orbit, I was not really understanding. Then I understood that the mentality is different. In the US, everything shall be explained to everybody, and the space is really part of daily life. Everybody knows about shuttle. Everybody knows about probably in the International Space Station. NASA is part of a knowledge, and probably they are. If you look at the NASA website, probably you don't find many information about many scientific information about the missions, but you have everything on outreach, how to outreach that mission. And this is completely different in Europe and also in Italy, of course, because everybody is taking care. Most of scientists, we have outreach, and we are doing a lot. I'm doing a lot of outreach activities, but really it's made mostly at personal level. There are incredible things which also ESA is doing. I was totally fascinated by a video made by ESA on the Rosetta mission. It was an incredible video. You can have a look on YouTube. It's called Ambition. And is made with the same actors and director, I think, of Game of Thrones actors, and it's made in a fantastic way. So it's really incredible. But I doubt most of you knows that, and we are all in the space sector. This is something which shall be advertised to the full population. Instead, for the Rosetta mission, we had some information. Of course, I was totally informed, also because it arrived there when it was I was working in Planck. So there was we had to discuss. Okay, we are working Rosetta. The ESA ground station is dedicated to Rosetta. Don't care about Planck in that moment. So it was funny. But really, people was not involved in this mission. I'm sure if it was a NASA mission, we also, as Europe, would have known much more that we know. Being a European mission, it is a pity we don't have this capability to divulgate this information to the full society. And this, I think, is the key thing we need to change. To change in our approach to the future. For the future activities, we need to involve everybody, and this is important also as an entrepreneur, because really the space is everywhere. Somebody is claiming that every single company can be declared a space company because it's sure it's using somehow space. So we need to work on that.
Thank you. I think there are obviously many good things of the European space sector. There are many bad things, and there are many differences with others. And I think you picked a very interesting one. Not only the population, but also the government, especially in Italy, tend to be not aware of what's going on, and this is not acceptable. So we absolutely need to change this, and we need to, on a personal basis, we need to divulgate more. And what we do in space is awesome. So people cannot just not like it. It's just because they're not aware. So we need to work on it. It's very important. I have one last question for you, and we need, and it's a bit in the same topic than the previous one. We need more entrepreneurs in Europe. We need more projects, we need more industries, more research. So what is your message to anyone who has a good idea or who has an entrepreneur spirit, let's say?
Okay. Yeah. Yes, it was great to start this activity. I learned a lot. It's difficult. By the way, now I have mostly 2 jobs, so 2 quite demanding jobs. So I'm still managing the Euclid instruments, so Euclid mission. So it's really 2 full-time jobs. the difficult time for the startups and especially for the spin-offs is to find some fundings, and this is a key issue for not only for Italy but really for Europe. And this is related to what we were saying before. I think the point is we are sort of niche, and nobody really appreciates fully the space world. So we need to become more popular, because everybody is using the space indeed. And the space is, but now we are changing, and I think we need to change, and we need to have definitely more entrepreneurship, because space is the near future, the next frontier. I mean, really, the next step for at least for the telecommunications. See, this is my sector. It's clear that in the near future, telecommunication shall become almost fully from satellite services, because the Earth infrastructure cannot support the full services. We need to go beyond, and the near future is in all the sectors is the space. The European Commission, governments are really investing a lot in the space. This means that the governments are believing in space. Of course, you are from Thales, but I think we cannot just be large companies, because large companies are different from small companies as we are, because we are more agile, and probably larger company need a small company as PICOSATS to do a lot of small things, which for you is hard to achieve because you are too big. And indeed, I'm working also with Thales, and so this is a very good thing. And I think we need all the heads to reach this popularization. I like a word, democratization of space. And so to achieve this democratization of space, I think we definitely need more entrepreneurs.
Thank you very much. I mean, opening a company in Europe is not easy. Let's we don't lie ourselves, okay? But it's easier in the US. There are more companies that are opened in the US. But at the end of the day, the percentage of companies that succeed is the same. It's low both in Europe and in the US. But in the US, there are more companies opening and more money. So the thing is, in the US, they have a different approach to the risk, and they are more brave. They have more courageous. So I think we should be more brave as well in Europe and take risks. There's a good chance that your company will fail, but there's a chance that it will also succeed. And I think we should work on this. But thanks a lot for your words. I think it was really inspiring. Now, I propose we pass to the next step of this seminar, which is the webinar, which is questions from our public. I already see that we have a few questions from in the chat. I don't know if you want to ask them yourself or do you want me to read them. But if you turn on your camera, I will understand that you want to ask it yourself, and it's going to be easier for me. So from Federica Angeletti, we have thank you for your inspiring speech. I would like to ask you, how did you conciliate your academic career duties with your entrepreneurial commitment?
This is crazy, definitely crazy. I'm working day and night in this period, so it's good because the university is fully supporting me, but it's clear that I cannot continue this way. By the way, yes, this company has now 10 people. So I have, we are small, definitely small, but not that small. So managing the company is not trivial. But I think it's not even my role. So I think the next step is really to make a further step and to acquire a proper manager. I'm a technical manager. I can manage the instruments of a satellite. I can manage a scientific and technological project. I'm doing that, but not. I'm not a manager in the sense of a management of. Well, I'm doing that, but of course, I don't have the same capabilities of who is doing that for as a proper career. I mean, as a professor, I have to start the company, but I think in the near future, I will stay in the company as probably a scientific and technical advisor. But I think the next step is to leave the company to somebody professional in that role. Now it's crazy, totally. I believe me.
One job can already be crazy. Let's imagine. Next question is, do you have any suggestion for a specific soft skill to focus on and to develop in parallel with the technical background and experience for personal and professional development and for pursuing a high demanding career in the aerospace sector?
That's a good question. I think soft skills are key. Okay, in the sense that I'm doing that job, but not for money, not for because I want to become rich, but just for passion. And PICOSATS was born also for future young people which can work in that company and will become the future of the company itself. And for that, you have to build a team. It's not just made by 10 people now, because that is made by a team of 10 people. And we are all working together with the same key ideas in our mind. For me, ethic is a key value. So I don't want a company with single people. I want people which grow together and become a proper company. So I don't have a special idea on the proper soft skill, but I'm sure I have to understand the people with whom I'm working with. I made some error. It was not easy to start. I made some error because I was hiring people with at first seems people with good technical expertise, but then they were not sharing the same passion and they were not sharing the information. That's a key point. So they were taking, in particular, a few persons were just caring about their job and not about the job together. And this was my error. I think I had to realize before this was not a right person for the team, and somehow had an impact on the team itself because everybody was a bit scared about that. So passion, I would say, not easy to, but I think you have to learn how to work in a team.
Thank you. I think you said a few of them. In fact, you said passion, you said teamwork, you said work ethic. Those are very important. So as well as communication and others. So absolutely, thank you. Next question from Anna Aumann. I hope I said the name properly. Having insights into both traditional and new space, how do you think will they develop in the future, what issues do you see when combining both? That's a good question.
So it depends what you call traditional space and new space. I would say that traditional space will not change that much. I mean, if you think about traditional space as scientific missions, this will stay mostly as it is now, because I mean, I'm working with so-called new space economy. So our transceiver was made by using commercial components. We have not made a proper qualification campaign. Well, we are doing qualification campaign, but not in the traditional sense. And probably instead of doing a proper commercial qualification campaign, we will launch in the space and see that it is working. So the direction is really to lower the cost, to have a low-cost component, traditional components which is used also on the ground, and to make them work in the space. We know it will last. The company, this type of approach is working for a short while. So we will have missions which will last mostly 3 to 5 years, and that's it. That is not working for larger space missions, because scientific mission are typically based really on space components. We need to believe they will work for a number of years in a very harsh environment. For example, Planck and Euclid went in were in the Lagrangian L2 point. So it's far away, 2 tons of satellites. So you cannot use traditional commercial components, that's for sure. And it's the same for Euclid, and I think will be the same for next generation scientific mission. So I think we will live with a traditional space. I would not say economy. I would say traditional space sector. And then we will have a new space economy, which will be based on something very quicker. It's completely different, the approach, for example, the Asian market has. They don't care about qualification testing. So they just launch and see what happens. Everything is faster, is probably more risky, but is probably you spend a lot more if you do all the qualification and you arrive to the launch 2 years after. So it's a completely different approach, and I think we will somehow not mix. You will continue having the traditional sector for space missions, and then you will have the new space economy.
Thank you.
But this is a big question mark.
I was asking because I'm also looking to the US, where I think that the NASA has been more successful in including the commercial space sector or new space sector into their current projects. And the ESA, for example, now is also having a lot of money for smaller satellites as well. I think we actually wrote a proposal together last year or 2019.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So this is what I was asking, because sometimes for a new space company, it's a lot of overhead when applying for some ESA project. And I was wondering if you think this is going to change, if they're going to assimilate and learn from each other, or if they're going to be separate and just being different people working in different companies without ever talking.
Well, the same company, I was writing a proposal with Thales, by the way. So Thales, again, is one of the key contractors of, for example, also the Euclid mission. but the mission I was proposing recently, I was working with Thales. It's a completely very low cost mission, so totally new space economy. A mission for telecommunication of 3 billion euros is nothing for such a kind of missions, but we had to. Everybody was really focused on lowering the price of the full mission. This was including, by the way, ground segment, space segment, and also the launch. So it's nothing for a space mission. But you work on 2 levels, and I think it's hard to make the connection between them. I'm afraid. We will have still the traditional sector, mostly for things which need to be very consolidated, and then we will have a new space economy, completely different story.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other question from the audience?
Can I make a question to Anna?
Of course.
By listening to all the different question and answer, it seems that the future will be mainly driven from diversity. That is diversity in all, diversity in discipline, diversity in gender, diversity in way to work. And also to maintain this differentiation is important for the future. What do you think about?
Yeah, that's a good point. The first time I think about that. For sure, the diversity is, as you also were saying, is a key value. So we don't have to see that as an issue, but rather as something which can help us in discussing, in achieving something more. And probably also the 2, let me say, part of economics. One is a proper economy, and the other is a more research and technological sector. We'll see each other, and maybe they will try to speak, and they will learn from each other. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's already happening in the Asian market. It's not yet in Europe, but maybe. Yeah, that's nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no more questions, actually, we have another question from Anastasia Kirilo. Do you have a suggestion for young women embarking on a space career for the first time?
Okay. It's not easy. I think. I arrived there almost by chance. I was working not by chance, but I was working with a number of people, and then something happened, and I made this choice. But I think if you believe in yourself, you can reach whatever you want. So it depends on at what level you start. So I think the first thing is to make space careers, internship and stages in many companies. I think also in ESA is the first step, because you learn how to work and you start. Okay, so the difficult point is start. And if you start knowing people, then and people will appreciate your work, and sooner or later you will be paid for what you are and you are doing. So I'm pretty confident that if you want to achieve something, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to go, just go and do what you can, and sooner or later it will be back to you. Not easy as an answer.
Thanks a lot. I hope this is for an inspiration for all the people that have to start a career. I totally agree. You need to have the first opportunity. So also the companies need to remember when did they start, that they had an opportunity to start with an internship, and that we have to believe in the youngs, because if we don't believe in youngs, there's not going to be any future. So
yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, I think we are pretty much out of time. Thanks a lot to everybody for participating.
Thank you.
Special thanks to Anna Gregorio for this very inspiring speech. At least it was for me. I hope it was for the audience as well. Just a few words. This is the first event organized in the frame of We Men in Aerospace, which is a project that aims to encourage the participation of any gender by promoting the need to increase, and we need to increase the awareness about gender equality and focus on diversity in line with the Women in Aerospace Europe mission. So remember that there are going to be other events that will be organized by the Rome Local Group. There are other events organized by other local groups as well, of course. And we look forward to have you in the next ones. Have a look in the website and in Facebook, and especially Instagram. We have more information, and we have many contents that we publish on a regular basis. So enjoy. Many thanks to Anna Maria as well for the introduction and for having this organized. And well, have a good evening.
Thank you to all, and my personal thanks to Anna. That was really a pleasure to listen her talking.
No, thank you for organization and for calling me. Anna Maria, was a pleasure. Thank you, Luca, for this very nice discussion with you. So it was really a good thing.
And
thank
we
you.
introduced the changing with the new generation, women and men.
Yeah, right. Good.
We need to do this together. Absolutely.
To any gender.
Alice?
Yes, for a local group, or an association in line with our mission, the European one, and open to any gender. So that's very, very important to remember.
It's important in order to build a modern society.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to all. And
thank
you all for the next webinar.
See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye to everyone.
Bye.